Hey everybody, welcome into episode 73 of my YouTube journey. In this episode, it's going to be one of those, I got rid of these amount of cards in order to grab these two big cards. And I know I've done a couple of these videos and I've gone through my thought process and why I did what I did, how I chose what I chose. It's going to be one of those. This one right here, though, is the biggest one of any that I've ever done. It's the biggest move I've ever made. I don't know if it would even be possible to make a bigger move than this with my collection. So some people are going to watch this and going to think, you big dummy, why would you do that? And then others may agree with it, and some may be neutral and just kind of look at it as, wow, Tony did it again. Whatever. Doesn't matter to me. I just think it's interesting when I hear people explain why they got a card, how they got a card, their thought process behind it, and then the story behind the genesis of it. So that's what we're going to do right here. So I'm going to talk to you about how I found out about these cards being for sale. I'm going to talk about how I decided if I could even get them. I'm going to talk about my thought process of what it was going to take to get them. And then there was a little bit of a strategy behind how to raise the money. And then finally, I'm going to show the cards. I'm going to show a video of me picking them up. It's going to be a lot of fun, so hang in there. I hope you enjoy it. I really enjoy these type of videos. I hope you do too. So, as you know, I love signed cards, and I've picked up some big ones this year. And this year, I counted up the other day how many cards I've sold, the value of those. And yeah, I've picked up a lot of cards, but you got to understand something. The majority of the cards that I picked up this year that are big cards were paid for through other cards. So I kind of call it card equity. And so that's what I'm able to do sometimes when I have to. So that is what happened right here. And you know, this card that came up was too big for me to write a check like Mike Petty would do at Strongsville, or to go into my bank account and send a wire. It's not going to happen. I don't have that kind of money. Just bought a new house. Business has slowed down a little bit. So when a card comes up that is very difficult to get, sometimes you just got to move on it. So I got to thinking back about the genesis of me kind of getting into signed stuff. And I've always kind of been interested. I know I've talked to it to, you're probably sick of hearing it, but I got to thinking about it the other day. And at the 2024 National in Cleveland, a buddy of mine, Luke Bleecker Street Cards, he has some amazing signed cards. And some of the cards he had there on the floor, I reached out to him, met up with him, and he has 3 signed Jackie Robinsons. And when I held those in my hand, it like light switch time. It was amazing. Holding those in my hand, I honestly had never even thought about Jackie Robinson having signed baseball cards. And I know that's stupid, but some of these guys that are in that echelon of baseball history, to me, almost take on a mythical figure. And it's almost like they didn't really exist, even though they did. And the fact that he signed cards, now there's not a whole lot of them out there. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. So I was able to pick up 3 this year. And here they are right here. I'm going to share a slide. I was able to pick up those 3 and love them. And every time I get a new one, it's just like, in Donkey Kong when he goes to another screen and it's that music. It's like, and anyways, it's just really cool for me. So I went to the National this year and going around to those booths, and I walk in the Heritage booth, and Lord have mercy, they had the Golden Era Collection cards on display in that glass case. And I was there on a fact-finding mission. I knew REA was going to have some signed Jackies, and in fact, they had the 1951 Bowman, or 1950 Bowman, signed Jackie that I ended up having in my collection was in that booth. I was looking for other signed Jackies, and man, when I walked up to that case and saw those cards, they had signed Mantles, signed Williams, signed Pages, signed Jackies. They had all kinds of amazing signed, period signed, autographed cards with a ballpoint pen. Now, here's what makes this collection really significant. This one guy got all of these autographs to the point where the players knew him. he would go around, he would catch them at restaurants, he'd catch them coming out of stadiums, he'd catch them at spring training, and he had the entire 1952 set signed. He had the entire 1949 Bowman set signed. He had the entire 1950 Bowman set signed. Like, insane stuff. Like, to me, this guy, him and Uncle Jimmy are the two signed card goats of the hobby. Like, insane stuff. So I don't know the story. They didn't share his name, but the stuff he built up, whole sets of basketball cards from the late 40s, just crazy stuff. But they're all in ballpoint pen. They're all period signed. The 52 Mantle that was in that case just sold in the same auction as Heritage Auction for almost $1 million. It's the only known early 50s signature of Mantle on a 1952 Topps card. Insane. To me, it's the finest Mantle. I would take that Mantle, and call me crazy, but I would take that Mantle over Marshall Fogel's Mantle. I just would, because it's so rare to have that signature, that time period. And then you think back of the history of Mantle, who he was at that time and who he would become. So, and the card itself is iconic. So there are iconic cards in our hobby that you just can't deny how special they are. So when I was looking through that case, I didn't do a lot of videos at the National, and I saved this one, and it was showing those cards. And I was talking to this guy beside me, and he's like, and I don't know this guy, and he's in awe too. And we're talking together. So I'm going to play that video right here. And once you see the video, you'll understand how I saw the card. Well, there were several Jackie cards for the first time.
All right, 51 Bowman, 52 Topps. I gotta take a picture of these two.
Yeah, these are insane.
Yes, they are.
And not only that, but that Mantle's an early signature.
Yeah.
All right, so amazing cards. You can see the Mantles in there. You can see the Ted Williams, the Page. I mean, just really nice stuff. So here's a freeze frame of those cards. So in that case, there was the 50 Bowman, which in my opinion is the nicest signed Jackie in that set in existence. So that one is on auction coming up here soon, and it's actually on auction right now. I'm going to be watching that one because I have one. So I want to see what that one goes for. And also, there was a 55 Topps in there that is actually in this auction that's going on right now for Heritage. There was a Burke Ross. There was a 1948 Sports Thrills with Jackie breaking the color barrier card. Beautiful signed one. And then there was the 1952 Topps, the red one, that's so iconic. It was signed, and then there was a 1953 Topps signed Jackie. So just amazing cards, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And so I was thinking, no way in the world can I get that 52. There's no telling what that's going to sell for. It's going to be way into six figures. And then I'm thinking, well, if I can't get that one, I want one of them for several reasons. One is I've got three. I'm trying to do as many signed Jackies as I can possibly get. And I love what Jackie stood for, and I love the rarity of them. So I go in, I've come to the agreement at that case when I walk away that I'm going to try to land the 53 Topps. And I kind of comp it out. I'm not going to talk values in this. I'm just not going to do it. If you want to look up what these are worth, again, jump on Card Ladder. You can find it really easily and find out what they're going for. You can even find what I paid for the cards I'm going to talk about. But I decide I got to get to at least the 53. There's no way I'm getting the 52. The 52 is going to sell for 4 times what the 53 is going to sell for based off of comps. And so not going to happen. I go home. I start coming up with a plan. You got to understand something. When you're going for pretty rare cards, you got to understand what the pop counts are. So I keep in my notes on my phone what the pop counts of some of these signed cards are in the player runs that I'm doing, whether it's Mantle, Aaron, Doby, Monty Irvin, Jackie Robinson, Ted Williams. I'm trying to do a lot of those guys. I'm trying to do signed card runs. So I keep up with the pop count. So if I see one pop up, I know how urgent it is to go and get it. So here's the pop count for the 8 main card run of Jackie Robinson. This doesn't include the Burke Ross. It doesn't include the other ones like the Sports Thrills. It doesn't include any of those. And I'll talk about those here in a minute. So the signed run of Jackie is the following. There are only 4 1949 Leaf cards. There's 9 1949 Bowman cards. So really, as way as the hobby looks at it, both of those are large edition, I guess you could say, rookie cards. There are no signed Bond Bread cards, either in the clipped corners, the Bond Bread Jackie Robinson set of 13, he didn't sign any of those. There is 11 1950 Bowmans. As you can see, I got a check mark by it. I have it. There are 9 1952 Topps. So again, very rare card. The 52 Topps and the 49 Bowman both only have 9. There's only 4 49 Leafs. So those are the 3 hardest to get. The 53 Topps, the one I was looking at, 17 of those. And now all these are PSA pop counts as well. Beckett grades signed cards. SGC used to, but neither one of them show anything on their website as far as those kind of pop counts. There's 16 of the 54 Topps. I've got one of those. There are 20 of the 55 Topps. I got one of those. And there's only 12, believe it or not, of the 56 Topps. And that one is one that hardly ever comes up. So all in all, there are 98 total PSA graded signed Jackie Robinson cards in the population. There are other ones too. The 1947 through 66 exhibit card, there are 16 known copies that are signed by PSA. The Sports Thrill that was in that same auction sold for over $200,000 because there's only 2 of those. There's a blue tint Jackie Robinson. There's only 1 of those signed. What else there? I wrote that down. There is the 1961 new card scoops. There's 2 of those. And then there's 17 signed Hall of Fame plaque cards. So that's about it. And so there's not a whole lot of those out there. All in all signed cards by Jackie Robinson there's 140 total. And now, will one come out of the woodwork every now and then? Absolutely. That happens. This entire set, this golden era collection, or golden age collection, was just recently graded. So this guy, I don't know, I guess he had them in binders. I don't know. But this just came out of nowhere. So it added 1 to the pop count. So I go home, I figure out I'm going to go for the 53. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, man, could I get the 52? Is it possible? So what I do is I go on my Card Ladder app and I got my entire collection entered in there. And I start picking out cards. Well, if I gave this one up, I could get another one. If I gave this one up, it's going to hurt, but I can get another one. If I gave this one up, it's going to hurt, but man, I can get another one of those. Most of the cards that I ended up with on the list will be available at the Strongsville show in that room. That's how available they are. Now, they're iconic. They're extremely iconic. And some of these I paid a lot of money for. Some of them I traded for. Some of them I sold a few cards to get. But they're in my collection. They're card currency. And so I was willing to give those up. And so once I came up with the list, I surprised myself. I had enough cards to be able to land that iconic 1952 Jackie Robinson signed card. And so I decided, let's go for it. And so I forgot about the 53, decided to focus on the 52. Now I got to come up with a strategy of how am I going to move these cards? So what I like to do in these cases, I've done it a couple of times. When there's a big card in an auction, I make that list, and then I reach out to my buddy Ash, and I tell him, because I know what he's going to do. I'm going to comp my cards, and I'm going to be as fair as I can be, because if I don't, he's going to call me on it anyway. So I'm going to be fair on my comps, and most of these cards have already gone up in price. from when I got them. And so I go to Ash and I say, here's the list of the cards. Here's where I'm comping them. What do you think? And he comes back and he gives me yes, 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 no, you are $300 high. And he does a list and we come up with a total. And then he's going to take 15% off of that. He has to have that much room in there to make money. So he's basically paying 85% of comps. What I decided to do was take a couple of the big cards and sell them on Facebook. And that way I had a backup plan. So hold on, let me reverse. Beep, beep, beep. Let's go back to what I just said about Ash. Here's the deal I do with Ash. I have a deal in place. He's going to buy the cards if, keyword, if I land whatever I'm after. Not before, because there have been cards that I've been after and I didn't get them because they went too high. I comped them at this and they went up here and I was not willing to go there because I had come up with my list and I had my budget for what I was willing to pay for that card. And if it went over that, then that meant I was going to have to come out of my pocket with cash. And sometimes I do budget a little bit for that, but this time I didn't want to pay any cash for this card. So I budgeted a certain amount and I tell Ash that. And so if I win the card, the deal is done and I ship him the cards and he pays me for them and I'm able to pay for the card I land. So that way I've got kind of a parachute I can pull. I don't want to sell them beforehand. If I sell them and I don't land the card, I ain't got my cards. Sure, I got money, but if there's only 9 of them, I don't know when another one's going to come up. What good's that money going to do? It's going to burn a hole in my pocket. I'm going to buy a bunch of other crap that I don't need. So don't want to go that route. But what I did do, I went ahead and sold a big card, and I'll talk about that in just a second. I sold it to a lady in Pittsburgh. She was fired up to land it, and that big card, and then I sold 2 other cards ahead of time. That way, I had a plan B. If I didn't land the 52, I would pivot, and I would go and get the 53. So I would at least get one of those cards, and then I would keep all the cards that I didn't have to send to Ash. So that's my plan. So I hope that wasn't just a bunch of noise. Understand there is a strategy there. So that's what I did. So here's the list of cards that I sold in order to try to land that. Now, again, some of these I sold ahead of time. 3 of them I sold ahead of time. The rest were in the Ash deal, and I'm going to tell you which ones those were. So here's the list right here. We had 2 Wagners. The Sporting Life Wagner went to Ash. The E90-2 American Caramel, I sold to the lady in Pittsburgh. Great collector. She was so excited, which made me feel good. And again, the Sporting Life was going to Ash if I landed the 52. I gave up 4 Ty Cobbs. The E121 American Caramel, the 1933 Sports Kings, the T206 Red. Now, that was a really nice one. I hate to give it up, but you know what? I'm going to go search for a 1.5 with a little bit of back damage like I did on my green one. E90-1 American Caramel as well. I also gave up 3 Garrigs, the 33 Gowdy number 2 and the 2 34 Gowdies number 37 and 61. Garrig means a lot to me because of my history with my dad, and did a whole video over that. But I got the Type 1 of Lou Gehrig Day, and that image of him standing there with that look on his face is really the piece that I just kind of dedicated to my father. The 2 Jackies I gave up were the 1952 Tops and 53 Tops. Both of those, again, were if these I just listed are if I win the 52, they go to Ash. The next ones that go to Ash, there's 6 Mantles. There's the 51 Bowman. I won another one of those. There's a 56 Tops. There's a 54 Red Heart. All those were going to go to Ash if I win. There was a 54 Bowman to go to Ash. There was a 53 Tops to go to Ash. And then on the next slide, these 2 right here, I sold ahead of time. The 53 Bowman color, I sold to my buddy Greg Miller. I sold it to his dad. His dad was so excited to get that. And then that Walter Johnson, the T206 Walter Johnson portrait that I got last year in Strongsville. I hated to give it up, but when Greg learned I was moving some cards, he actually approached me and said, hey man, I would love to own that. And I thought, all right, well, I can get another one. So I gave that up because I knew it'd go to a nice home. The rest of these cards were going to go to Ash if I win the 52. There's 3 Joe Jacksons, the Tom Barker game, the National game, and then the one that really killed me was the 1916 Famous and Bar. But that was a high dollar card that would get me to that goal the fastest. The 1955 Hank Aaron, I'm trying to do a signed Aaron run, and I'll eventually get a signed one of those. The 1949 Bowman Satchel Paige. The 1959 Bob Gibson, I have a signed one, so I don't need that one. And then the T206 Tris Speaker, I want another one of those. So those were the cards that I decided to give up if I won the 52 Jackie. So the auction rolls around. It's the day of. I'm getting butterflies in my stomach all day long thinking about it. I'm texting with Greg and Mookie and Darren and my buddy Mike Petty all during the auction. They're wanting to know what I'm willing to go to, where I'm willing to go. And remember, the comp on that 52 is very high. And so I didn't know whether I'd be able to pull it off or not. And when that sucker stopped, depending on where you comp that card. Now, I have talked to people who collect these signed cards. I've talked to guys who own them and said, where would you comp this? And they agreed with my comps. This card, Heritage, people want to talk about shill bidding and things like that. And I actually, like I talked about, I emailed Chris Ivy at Heritage and talked to him about his policies and all that. And he kind of set the record straight. I felt comfortable because I told him there were some big cards I wanted to get, but I wasn't comfortable bidding on them because I was afraid that they were going to be shill bidded. He assured me they weren't, told me what things they have in place to keep that from happening, and made me feel better about it. As the auction starts progressing, it got into extended bidding, and I had a bid on the 52 and the 53 in order so I could bid on them and extended. And the 52 stopped. It got into extended and it stopped. I think I did one more bid in there. And it stopped at like 67 to 72% of what comps should be. 67% of comps on the high end, on the low end, what I thought it should sell for, or on the high end, it was incredible. And I about flipped out. And I had them texting me going, did you just win that? I'm like, yes, I can't believe it. And I just had this feeling like, I cannot believe I just won that. So at this point, I've got well into 5 figures left. And I could have stopped. And I could have kept some of my cards. But I got to thinking, I wonder what the 53 is going to go for. So I pivoted. I already got the 52. And I started bidding on the 53. And there was somebody bidding along with me. And dadgummit, if I don't land the 53 as well. I got 2 of them. I got the 52 and the 53. We're going to look at those here in just a second. I could not believe I got both of those cards, both of them, for what I conservatively comped out the 52 for. Both of them for the price of what I thought I was going to pay for the 52. So I was giving those cards up at that point. I get a hold of Ash. He's fired up. He's going to have some good inventory, and we make the deal. And so I'm the proud owner of 5 signed Jackie Robinson cards now. And we're going to look at them in just a minute. But I do want to add this little thing. We're going to look at the video of me going to Dallas to pick them up. And I'll explain that here in just a second. I have this YouTube channel, and I've talked about this. And why do I do it? And what are the benefits of doing it? I ain't getting rich doing it, that's for sure. Well, there's a bunch of cards that I've been able to pick up that are very significant in my collection from people who watch me, from people who look at my stuff on Instagram. And this one guy, after I land that, and I posted it on Instagram, the 52, He sends me a DM. His name's Scott. I'm not going to use his last name. He doesn't want to be out there. He said, "Hey, I'm so happy that card went to you. I was the underbidder." I'm like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I was the underbidder." He said, "I had a feeling it was you I was bidding against because you had dropped some hints in your top 50 card video when I talked about the E90-2 probably wasn't going to be in my collection next year because there was a big card coming up in an auction I was after." He said, "I put two and two together. I knew what you collect." I had so many people reaching out to me. Side note, so many people reaching out to me going, "Hey, do you see that card? Do you see that card? Have you seen the Jackies in the Heritage Auction?" And I really appreciate you guys doing that. It really opens up doors for me. But in this case, he quit bidding. And so I thought, oh, well, I don't really know this guy. So I sent him back a DM. I said, "Well, if it makes you feel any better, this thing went so low under comps. I was willing to go here," and threw out an insane number. And he didn't really respond back, but he said, "Well, yeah, I can see that." And I'm thinking, well, you would have never went there probably. And then he says, "Well, here's the stuff I have." And we have this conversation. I ended up talking to him on the phone for over an hour. He has an insane collection. My collection, I think, is pretty nice. My collection is preschool compared to Scott's. I'm going to be doing a video with Scott showing his stuff now. But he stopped bidding on that and let me get it for the price I got it. He could have beat me. I would have never beat him with the amount of he's got some money, okay? I'd have never beat him. It was so kind of him to do that. He said, "I know how much that card meant to you." He said, "I only collect signed cards with provenance like that card where I know where the cards came from." And when you see what he has and hear the stories behind what he has, his stuff blows mine out of the water, and he has provenance on every one of them. So again, another perk. You know, the bad thing about being out there on YouTube, it took me about 45 minutes to put all these cards back on my shelves because I was going to be on a camera tonight. I put them all up in a safe when we're done because I can't leave them out because I put myself out there. But at the same time, putting myself out there is giving me community, and it's giving me people around me who look out for me and find cards for me and do really awesome stuff like Scott did. So I wanted to throw that in there. That was so cool. So win the cards, do the deal with Ash. Me and Ash get to talking about it. He's like, "Well, you know, I won a couple of cards at Heritage too." He lives in Dallas. Heritage is in Dallas. He said, "Your cards are way too expensive to ship those things. I'm going to go to Heritage and pick them up, and then I'll have them. And then, is there any way I can come to you or you can come to me?" I said, "Dude, I got so many Southwest points. I can fly nonstop to Dallas for $11 round trip." So that's what I did. Jumped on a flight out of Nashville, flew to Dallas. He met me down at the baggage claim area and handed them off. I did a video. I'm going to do the little video log right here showing my trip down there. Check this out. It was a lot of fun. And so here's that video. I didn't film this originally, but I did want to say it. I did have this feeling that when Ash had my cards and he started advertising them on Facebook, I had a feeling that I hadn't had before. I felt like the only analogy, Greg Miller style, that I could use would be if you broke up with your girlfriend and next thing you know, you see her posting pictures with a new dude and she ain't yours no more. And that feeling you would get about someone that you loved all of a sudden being on the market again and not being part of you anymore. And I had that feeling, like I saw the 51 Bowman Mantle. He posted that and it just like, ugh. The famous bar, Joe Jackson, when I saw that and it ain't mine anymore, that's been mine for several years. And that, I mean, it hit me. So don't think at all that I'm some cold-hearted flipper. If you want to, that's fine too. When I saw the Garrigs, so anyways, I know I can get those again, and I will. And that's gonna be something I do the rest of the next couple of years is trying to recoup a lot of those cards I gave up. I've got to totally rebuild my Ty Cobb collection because I love collecting him. I want to get another 1916 Joe Jackson eventually. I got to have the 3 Gowdy Garrigs back. The Mantles, I'm working on that signed Mantle run, so not sure what I'm going to do with that. But I'll figure it out. I got to have more Mantles. I've got 6 Mantles in my collection now. I used to have all of them. So I'm going to have a lot of work to do to get where I want to get. And so, but I did want to put that in there that, yeah, if you decide to do this, don't think for a second that when you see those cards. Now, I did reach out to Ash. I told him how I was feeling. And he said, well, I want to let you know the 52 Jackie, which again, that one I was attached to, but having the signed one, that other one kind of goes, I don't really miss it, honestly, because I've got one. It's so much better. But he said it went to a great collector who was so thrilled to have it. So he's already sold. I've already seen him put sold on a bunch of them. So I'm happy that he's able to make his money back. That's what he's in business to do. And be able to do that. So hopefully one day, if I want to do another deal, I can. But right now, I'm out of card capital. Like, I don't have anything else I want to move. I'm not moving any of my signed stuff. It's too special to me. The stuff that's not signed would be more likely to go, but the stuff I have, I don't want to move it. So there's not going to happen for a while. But I do want to rebuild my collection. You know, the thumbnail, I blew up my collection, is exactly what I did, but I'm going to rebuild it. And I can. And I will. So it's going to be fun. So if you pay attention to my collection in my pickup videos, you're going to start seeing not the same exact card, but the same card is going to show up in my collection again. Just wait and see. All right, back to the normal programming. Just left my house, 6 a.m. It is major fog today, and headed to Dallas to get the 2 Jackies from Buddy Ash. So it's going to be flying into Love Field, meeting him at the baggage claim, handing off my cards, and getting my new ones. I cannot wait to have those bad boys in my hand. But anyway, it's going to be a long day. I believe I'll land back in Nashville around 5. A little breakfast here in Nashville at Tootsie's. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to Tootsie's, but it's a Nashville staple on Broadway. But only in the Nashville airport can you get this at 7 a.m. Some dude woke up early this morning and said, I'm going to kill it on the guitar and bike at Tootsie's in the airport. I have landed in Dallas and heading to Tony to meet me at baggage claim number 7. And it's easy to remember because of Mr. Mantle. And meeting him down there and going to hand off the cards. And he, in turn, will hand me mine. All right, I just found me a quiet corner over here by the baggage claim. Nobody around me. I guess closest people about 25 yards away. Let's just kind of show you. And pretty pumped. I ain't gonna lie. When I hold a big card like this, or in this case cards, I get pretty fired up. So you get this kind of tingly sensation. And the fact that I'm holding something right now that Jackie Robinson held in his hand is so cool to me. I've said that over and over. You're probably sick of hearing it, but that's how I feel. And I'm going to show them to you real quick. This will be the first live glimpse. Look at that bad boy. Ballpoint pen for the win, fellas. All right, it was several videos actually put together into one montage. And so I'm going to show you the cards now. And I'm so thankful to own these. I'm thankful for the history. The fact that Jackie Robinson held that in his hand, again, makes me just thrilled to have it. It's a piece of history. Jackie is so important to not only sports history, baseball history, American history, but to own something that he touched and to own something that doesn't have very many of them out there. It's got the rarity. It's iconic. Both of them are, and they're both beautiful. So I'm going to show them to you right here, right now. All right, so here they are. The first one I'm going to show is the 1953, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Look at that bad boy. Let me get the focus to do a little better. It's indented in the card, blue ink. Look at that. Love it. Great card. Actually, the card ain't in bad shape. Sometimes with these signed cards, the card itself can be pretty ratty. But this one right here is phenomenal. Love having it. Again, doesn't get any better than Jackie Robinson for me. And beautiful card. I've always loved the card anyways, but adding that signature just makes it next level. So put that one right here. And then the Mac Daddy, the one I decided to put all my chips on the table for, is this 1952. I mean, look at that signature right there. Again, the blue ballpoint and his traditional, the way he signs his name, indented in the card again, as you can see. Now the card has, has a few faults in and of itself, but I will share here in just a second. Out of the 9, I've been able to locate 6 of the signed Jackies, and I'll put that picture on the screen here in just a second so you can see how mine stacks up. I think it stacks up pretty well, actually. But sometimes with the signature on this card, it kind of blends into the background a little bit. But this one is really strong. So love it, love it, love it. The next thing, I'm going to show just the ones I got. We'll do a group photo. So this is the 55, the best wishes card that Mike Petty likes to make fun of, that I love the best wishes, and I really do. Got the 1950 Bowman. Again, this was in a case, in the REA case. And the story behind this one, again, I own this card because there's a guy that follows me and was able to reach out to me. He sold it almost a month after he got it because there was another card that came up that he really needed for a big run he was doing. And he needed to raise funds, and he knew I would love and appreciate that card. So that's the 50 Bowman. And then last is the 54 Topps. And out of all of them, this one right here is the strongest signature. I mean, look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. So that's my signed cards. That's 5 out of the 8. Hoping to get at least the 56. The 49 Leaf being 4, that's, I don't know. Never say never, but that's going to be wild trying to get that one. And then there's only 9 of the 49 Bowman. And now that people consider that his widespread rookie card, that's going to be hard to land as well. So anyways, that's my 5. I'll be right back with closing remarks. All right. Thanks for watching. I'm so appreciative again of all the people that watch my channel and share this journey with me. But until next time, just remember, Tony loves his baseball cards. Tony loves his baseball